Hello, and welcome to the vlog of May 25th. And today we will be talking about social studies, what I have learned in social studies, specifically about Plato and Jews, mostly Jews, because a lot happened to them. I'll talk a little bit about some of my AP chemistry experiences, and about ducks, of course, you gotta love the ducks, and ROTC, along with Turkey. Its internet rights are pretty messed up at the moment. So, now, over to you, Bennett. Thanks, bro. Alright, we're going to start with social studies. These are the top 3 things I have learned this term from Mr. Dorman in social studies. Number 1, Plato was the first communist. His idea of an ideal government was what we would today call communism. It's where the state ruled every single little aspect of a person's life. This was to supposedly stop corruption and any of that other stuff that happens in the US government, like Obama. The second thing on my list, which is actually the number 1 thing we learned, I guess I did it out of order, sorry. All you people, I'll cut it, maybe. No, I won't, because it's too much work. Just kidding, I might. It's a surprise. Jew persecution. Of course, the Jews have never had it easy. You look over in Russia, they're getting persecuted right now over in Crimea. Putin. That sounded like a really bad Irish song. Putin, Putin. Okay. Crimea has been doing this thing where they have to register or they get, like, consequences of some sort. I don't know what they were. Anyway, next we have, let's see, Caesar. I have him on my list. The Romans. They persecuted Jews because the Jews were supposed to believe in one God and they didn't really, so sometimes they got picked on. It's the Jews though, so it's to be expected. The Gauls. I think that's modern day France now, somewhere here. I'll put a map there hopefully. Yep, they pretty much got persecuted. As always, they had to move east into Eastern Europe out of Western Europe because of them. World War II, obviously Hitler kind of made lots of nasty Jew jokes. They became mainstream, but unfortunately a lot of people died in the process of those jokes becoming mainstream. All those big nose jokes and stuff, those come from Hitler, so yeah. The Egyptians actually persecuted the Jews, and Moses led them out of slavery and into the desert for 40 years. So you go out of the Egyptian desert, where you're a slave, into the wherever they went desert. It's right across the Red Sea. Maybe put a map up there if I can find one. Probably, yeah, I can't remember the name. It's been a while since we did this unit. Nebuchadnezzar, he persecuted Jews. He enslaved them again. Persecution, pretty common in Jewish history. It still happens. Christians were a big thing. They persecuted Jews because they blamed them for everything over in Western Europe after Caesar and them. Around the time of the Second Roman Empire is when they were trying to do it. That goes along with the Gauls. The Christians would basically persecute them for everything from bad weather to this beautiful thing they call disease, which happened a lot back then. Alright. The third thing I have learned in social studies. Women had more rights in ancient times than they did in early U.S. history. Up until, whenever they got them in the 1900s, I think, the people back then had way more rights. I believe Sumeria, they had a few rights. They could own businesses and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. The internet will do it. I know they will. The Rome, I believe, they had some. Sparta, they had a ton of freedom. They could just kind of walk around and do whatever they wanted to, unlike in Athens, just a few hundred miles away, where they had to stay inside all the time. And they couldn't even, show their face in public, except maybe at a public gathering of some sort. An important one. I don't know. They couldn't go to the Olympics either. On to our next subject. We'll tell an AP chemistry story, because I like AP chemistry. I took that class, and I was fairly good at it. Now, we were doing the reaction of, I believe, mercury with hydrochloric acid, weakened hydrochloric acid concentration to make, not mercury, it wasn't mercury, it was magnesium strips with hydrochloric acid to create hydrogen gas, which we would then measure and quantify and all that fun stuff. And then we'd take a little match, light it, blow it out, put it up in a pot, and it was cool. Our group had failed previously 3 times at doing our beautiful, like, it was like a green color is what the solution turned out to actually be because we failed so many times. It's just this, put in a test tube, flipped over, all great. Problem was we kept getting hydrochloric acid up into the can't remember the name right now. I should know this. The vials, I guess. I'll look up the name for that, put it in right here. The vials, they did this beautiful thing of ruining our experiment. So the 3rd time, we're like, we're gonna get this, we will do this, yada yada yada. Needless to say, it failed a little bit, so being the smart person I am, I decided, oh my gosh, it's not too late to save the experiment, and I haven't really touched it yet. So I grab it and I stop it from coming in, but in doing so, I stuck my hand into hydrochloric acid. It's fine, see? Beautiful hand still, well, mostly beautiful, yeah. It burned, obviously. It wasn't super strong, so I did not have any bone structure problems, really, or like melting skin. Skin doesn't really melt, it's kind of dries out and bad. It's just not good. Don't get it on yourself. It feels like jalapeno peppers were rubbed all over me. I've done that. That's not fun either. The important thing is I got it under cold water. Hot water's bad. Hot water will open up your skin pores and the acid will go deeper in. You want cold water so it closes up the skin pores and keeps the acid out as much as you can. I put it under cold water. I'm like, okay, it's pretty much stopped burning. I got all the initial solution off. Some of it had obviously soaked into my skin quickly, and I didn't quite realize it at the time. So I finished the experiment. The class was over right after that, and as I'm going back into the actual classroom, out of the chemistry lab, I'm like, my hand's burning a bit. Maybe I should do something about that. So I turned on the faucet in the classroom, and I stuck my hand under it, the cold water, and I sat there for a good 6 minutes, and the next class that came in was freshmen, and being smart freshmen that freshmen are, I don't normally hate on freshmen, but they ask stupid questions. Like, did it hurt? Will your hand melt? No, actually, it did not hurt when it was under the water. The water just kind of made the pain go away, because it was getting diluted and washed off of your skin, mostly, and cold numbed it a little bit. But will your hand dissolve? I stuck it in I think it was like 0.1 molar or something. Really weak. That's just like, I think stomach acid is 10 molar. It might be 6 or something. 6 or 7, I don't know. But it was a lot less than stomach acid, which we have played with acids that were 10 times stronger than stomach acid. That was fun. That made a big explosion, and my teacher forgot about that. That's a different story for another time. Poof, throw that away. Anyway, they asked if it burned, and it did when my hand was out of the water, so I'd basically take it out and let it warm up a little bit, and then if it burned, I put it back under the water until it stops burning, and lo and behold, I am the only person to ever walk into Miss Wallace's class being late with an acid burn, and I probably will be the only one ever. And not something I'm proud of. I walked in with my hand covered in lotion so that it didn't completely dry out from the acid burn. So that is my story of AP Chemistry. Lesson from this, kids: don't stick your hand into hydrochloric acid, even if it's really weak. It will burn you. Yeah, that's one of my less bright moments. Alright, we're going to go on to the MCJROTC thing. We're doing Shadow Day, which is when we show a bunch of 8th grade students around our school and show them all the cool things like drama, orchestra, band, choir. Not choir. I don't like choir. They're out over there in non-productive land. The National Honor Society, I think, helps out with that some. The MCJROTC, the Marine Corps Junior Recruitment Officer Training Corps. Big mouthful. That's why everyone just says ROTC. Anyway, they're all in the military. They wear camo and they're buff and they're scary and shaved heads and so when we were in that room, they decided they were gonna have us fight with the big marshmallow sticks, which they got the marshmallows and then they got more on the other side and bit longer than this, but you like fight with them. And they gave us a flak jacket, and they gave us a helmet. My helmet was too big, unfortunately, so I almost lost my match. And they give you like hockey gloves so you don't get your fingers banged up. And basically, no ambassador wanted to fight me, and none of the 8th graders did, so they needed somebody because they didn't want to just leave me hanging, like, you know, yo bro, you're gonna fight somebody, and be like, awesome. Nope, they left it to an RTC guy to fight me. Big guy. Right there. Shaved head, big muscles. Scary. And he had this, like, I don't know, his helmet actually fit, so that helped him a bit. But, so I'm like fighting, I'm like, got my little thing, and I'm a little Bennett, and blah 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 blah. And he's really strong, and I got the first point by hitting him on the head, and then he got the next 2 points, and I got another point, bit out of luck, and so it comes down to just us 2 left, and it's just like really tense in the room, it's silent, and the guy's like, big guy, fight! Actually, he's not really scary, he's a nice guy, I've met him before, he's like, fight! And so I'm like this, and the guy always had waited, like he's like trying to like, I don't know, wait for me to make the first move, so I'm just like, BAM! Hit him in the head and I won the fight. I won a sweatshirt. It says USMC. I'll show you, I'll wear that someday. I'm not going into the Marine Corps. Just saying, that's a bad idea for me. Today, as I was driving out of soccer practice, I saw a beautiful family of ducks crossing the street, just waddle, 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 waddle. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cute. So I pull up to the stop sign, the car's coming, and he has the right of way, so I'm waiting for him to turn. It turns out, he's just waiting on those ducks. And they're like, waddle, waddle, waddle. Bro, I don't care. Waddle, waddle, waddle. Beautiful ducks. I basically just turned because he was essentially giving me the right of way by stopping. So, but the ducks were just like, waddle, 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 quack, waddle, waddle. I wish I had got video of that. There's a little, there's a couple, like an Asian girl and I think the guy's an engineer, walking along the street, and they're just like, why is he stopped? And they look like up and over through my tiny little like short to the ground car, and then they see these ducks, and this like lady's like trying to go, and she's like, I can't do this, oh my god. So she couldn't hit the ducks, so I applaud you, lady, for not killing animals. Now I think we are on to our final topic. Let me check my list of things to do today. Ducks. Yep, the ducks were the important one. And women's rights, and yeah, we got Turkey. Turkey Prime Minister, President, he's trying to become a dictator. And that's not cool, and he's trying to win his next elections, and he's trying to like make it so social media doesn't come into play. So I know he's banned Google and Twitter now, for sure. I don't know if he's banned YouTube, which would be uncool, but it might be banned automatically since it's a YouTube, not a Google property. And I hope he doesn't do that, because I've got people from different countries. I know I've got a guy from India, I've got some people watching me from Argentina sometimes, the UK, Canada, hi Dimitri, and Dimitri's little brother, and I get them from, I think one from Alaska one time. I get them from all over the world sometimes, and I think it's pretty cool that people from all over the world watch me, or fans sometimes, but they can't watch me, they can't watch anybody else on YouTube if it's truly blocked because it's a Google property, which I think it might be. I don't live in Turkey, so I can't check. But they blocked Twitter, and now it's been 2-3 weeks now, and the Prime Minister is actually suing the country because they aren't doing a good enough job of enforcing the anti-Twitter thing. Because it's Twitter, I mean, it's the internet. You'll find a way around. You just, like, what can you do? The internet was basically like the ultimate you can't block it type thing unless you don't have service. And that's not something they can do because I'm assuming lots of their computers run on internet and send data over the internet, so they can't just block, like, cut off the internet to the entire country. So this guy, he decided, well, I'm just going to sue my country then because they aren't doing a good enough job of preventing the other people from getting advertisements out and having the people support them, and I am not a fan of democracy, and I will become a little dictator. But you see, he can't be a dictator because lots of dictators throughout history have persecuted the Jews, and he's not doing that yet. So he's just like a little communist wannabe right now. I mean, even Stalin in Russia didn't have the Jews. We did a play on that. It was Fiddler on the Roof, and it was not a happy play, and the Russians persecuted the Jews, and they had to move. The entire village. Not fun. Well, that's all for today, I think. Support, like, you know, the Turkey freedom of internet and stuff, and then on Sunday I will be doing videos with Ben Wilkinson and Alex Belzer. I'm done with that. And we're going to be doing Les Mis, and I can't sing, so that'll be an adventure, but Alex can sing, and Ben is actually not bad. So, subscribe, like, rate, hate, whatever you guys want to do. Peace out, YouTube.